Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast. We're growing. You can find us on netsnewsnetwork.net. And Doug, we have some more things that are in the working, and I can't tell you about it yet. But anyway, we're going to have a bigger audience out there. This is Doug Mcgee with me. He's one of my special friends, and he and Wanda are the foundation to Second Chance Animal Shelter. Thank you so much for being on the show with me again, Doug.
I always enjoy it. You said use the word foundation, and I'm glad you said it. Starting out, I wanted to say we've been talking a lot. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and I realize that, hey, average man lives, I think, 79. There'll be a time, I can't imagine as long as I'm healthy, me not coming down here to this shelter. And I know Wanda, as long as she's healthy, will always be part of this year. But we've been talking a lot about transition of what's going to happen. We want Second Chance Shelter just because we die or whatever. We don't want the shelter to go away because it's part of it's a nonprofit movement. So we're really talking about how to structure that. We've got a board of directors, which me and Wanda are actually on the board of directors and a couple other people. And that would be the choice, but we're trying to set up things for what do you call it, perpetuity or whatever. I can't remember the word, but we're trying to set up things so that when something happens to us, either whatever happens to us, this continues. So hey, I'm just putting a seed out there. Somebody's interested in animal welfare, come get involved, and so we can someday turn over the keys or whatever. When they put me in the ground, somebody can take it over.
It would have to be somebody who loves animals.
Absolutely. Somebody and we've got people in mind. We've actually talked about who would we choose or who would we select to take the shelter. Not that we're planning on leaving anytime soon. Now, my dream world, I live to be 200 years old, and I'm always here at the shelter. But realistically, we're trying to lay the groundwork so that when something happens in the future, or we never know, that this continues. We want Second Chance Shelter to be here long after we're gone, and hopefully still doing the right thing and still trying to make a difference for the animals. So,
let's talk about when Second Chance Animal Shelter started. What has been the biggest change, and when did it begin?
We started in 2008, and it was, and I've told this story before, but it was a spur of the moment thing. I worked at the police department in Albertville, and they called animal control to pick up some puppies. I knew that they were going to kill those puppies that day if animal control got them. So I called Wanda and said, hey, can we find these puppies a home? Because I didn't want them to die. That was that simple. And she said, bring them on. So I went and picked them up and brought them here to we actually lived on the property then. And we took them to trade day and gave a couple of them away. We just wanted them to live another day. And they did. And then we started talking to animal control. Next thing you know, we're taking more and more dogs. That's how we started. We started with no master plan at all. And our biggest challenge has always been that there's more dogs that will need to come in here than can go out. Yeah. The supply is bigger than the demand, and that is the biggest challenge we face. Has been from the beginning. Always more dogs need to come in than people are willing to take to go out. And that leads to the fact that the problem is Alabama needs tougher laws on spay and neutering, and we need to tighten up on that. We've got to drive the population down for this to work. And go ahead.
Who is the model state? Who is the model state who has the best laws out there to protect animals?
There's a lot of them. If I had, just from what I hear, the states that really seem to be doing well are Connecticut, and the New England states, and then also like Wisconsin. Wisconsin, we deal with them regularly. They have a lot of and it's a real fine line. I mean, it's a very fine line. You don't want to be regulated so bad that sometimes there's too many regulations.
Overdone.
Exactly. Like, case in point, we went to Wisconsin, had an event up there. Me and Wanda happened to be this. A man shows up with a pot-bellied pig as his pet, Well, he's walking around and he stakes it out in front of this building, Just let the people pet on it and all this. It's a big pot-bellied pig. Well, 20 minutes later, the police show up and tell him that you can't have, it was a police issue up there, so that he had to take the pot-bellied pig and he couldn't leave it outside. And so, to me, that's a little over-regulation, which is a danger you have when you start putting regulations in. Then it can go, but we got to do better than we're doing now in Alabama. We need a little more regulation, and then hopefully stop it when we start getting too far gone. I don't like over-regulation, but I think in this
case, you got to have some kind of format there. And sometimes there'll be a regulation or something voted on because of something stupid somebody did.
Yeah,
to an animal, and it could be somebody was dumping dogs and cats off or something, and so they had to do some kind of a law to keep stupid people.
And exactly. And I'm sure, I guess regulating stupidity would be the best thing, but that's kind of hard to do. Yeah. Because at some point we're all stupid. We'd all do something stupid, but still, if I make stupidity illegal, I don't, that would be the answer.
but think about this. Okay. I buy a box of toilet paper that has plastic over it. You would think anybody would know not to let a kid play with it. They could suffocate. But on there's a warning thing. Some idiot has done something stupid. And so you listen to some of the laws and you're going, why did that have to become a law? And then you go, wait a minute. It's a law because somebody has done this.
That's right. When you see a sign, don't do this. At one point somebody did that. And that's why they have the sign. Don't climb on the ladder. And put your ladder against electric wires. Somebody did it.
Somebody's done it.
And that goes back to laws. Another thing that's really bad in Alabama is the laws are all over the place. I would do the thing one time. I researched the city ordinances about dogs, and I found out that like in Boaz, you can have a dog on a chain, but it has to be at least 12 feet long, 10 feet long. I was in Boaz. This is years ago. Well, then Etowah County had to be 12 feet long. So you have a dog chain, but the chain length was 12 feet. So I always told people, if you move from Marshall County, Boaz to Etowah County, you need to buy a 2-foot section of chain to add to. Yeah. And so that's what I say. The laws are all over the place. Every city has laws that maybe apply to them because of some people making waves or whatever. And the next town over, those laws don't apply. And they're all over, like a bunch of drunk monkeys. When you go, you don't know what to tell people. Counties are the same way. Every county, every city has different regulations, different ways they enforce the law, and so nobody knows. When you move, everything you're doing here, you might move up to Connecticut, and everything you're doing here will be illegal. You go to Connecticut and chain a dog up and see what happens.
I'm kind of with the Connecticut people there now. Well, and even that 2 extra feet of chain would be even more liberating for that dog.
I talked to a man in Connecticut. That's why I keep bringing that. He came down here and adopted a dog from us. Real big supporter. We talked to him regularly, and we were talking about chaining dogs up. He said, if you chained a dog up where I live, he said they'd have the Humane Society and the news stations would probably be out. It's not done. And I imagine, I've never checked this out, but I would think it's probably a state law that you can't chain a dog up in the state of Connecticut. Here, there's a standard by a lot of people.
I've seen people actually not use a chain and use a rope, and you'd see how that rope had just worn on that poor dog.
Oh, I've seen.
Instead of getting if you're going to do it, couldn't you like get a nice collar, and it's got that little loop on it?
In Albertville, we were part of this. We actually got the dog. Somebody got you've seen a repeller. People who rappel, they have things on there are clips called carabiner clips. That they run the ropes. They got a dog in Albertville, and they pulled and they cut a hole through the dog's skin, ran that clip through the chest on that dog. So that dog, that's how it was secured. And those people actually went to jail. They actually got
fined.
They did. They had animal cruelty. I can't remember, their fine was huge, but that
through its skin.
That's how the dog was attached to the chain, was through its chest, through the clip that was through its chain. I saw once some people brought it out, and the dog they had welded, it had a metal collar on, and they had welded it. Well, the heat from welding would have been horrifying. That close to his neck, but that's how they.
That would hurt.
No doubt. So that, in those cases, animal cruelty laws apply, and you might get something done. But still, I mean, to me, chaining them up.
Wait a minute. I make jewelry and I'm a welder. And I know just touching it, you've got to have this clip. Let's pretend this is a clip. Here's a clip. So you have to have this clip to go on that piece of metal right here so it doesn't burn you as you're welding.
But, that collar, I mean, we saw it. They brought it out here. It was welded on that dog's neck. And so, the horrifying stories that you hear, and like I said, there are a lot of cases where animal cruelty laws imply, and we just got to push them. When something happens, a guy was driving down from Abbeville to Gunnersville, and a lady was behind him as he's throwing kittens out the window, and they're getting ran over. They're on Highway 431. Well, she followed him to Cracker Barrel, got his tag number and all, and was going to report it to Gunnersville Police. And I don't know what happened from there. Probably nothing if I had to make a guess. It probably just fell through the cracks at that point. But animal cruelty, if you see
what if you took a video, because it says you're a former cop. Now, I know once it's like you would have to practically like send them an invitation and say, I'm about to video you. Does that apply? I mean, like if you see somebody doing something stupid like that, and you got your cell phone, and can you video them and then send that? I would
videotape. Yeah, I think that is the best tool. Now, videotaping, but I think if you witness something like that, and I could tell you 100 stories that people called us. Oh, this person. In fact, this morning from County Road 397 in DeKalb County, it's so close to Aroni, 4 dogs locked in a house, Great Pyrenees, are starving. So now we're just in the process of getting that going. Somebody saw them. They know they're in there. They hadn't been fed for how long. So the DeKalb County animal cruelty guy is going out there to check on and see, and hopefully we'll hear something. Videos are fantastic. If I saw some kind of cruel act going on, whether it be dog fighting, chicken fighting, get a video and hey, send it to us and let us know the details. And because that gets action. A video of somebody doing something horrific or that looks horrific can get a lot more done probably than anything else. So
probably much more than white substance being found at the White House. Sorry, I didn't mean to go there. I just had to.
I'm glad you did. Like that just kind of disappears. Okay, well, never mind. Whatever.
Yeah, everybody move on. Speaking of moving on, we've got to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute.
You have been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it? Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. and let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success. And now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out the podcast, netsnewsnetwork.net. I have Doug Mcgee with me right now, and Doug is with Second Chance Animal Shelter. I'm telling you, you talk about Wanda being the glue. You're part of the glue, too.
I'm the mouthpiece, I guess. I don't know.
He's the one with the pretty face sitting in the office. No, he does a lot. Don't let him fool you. He does a whole lot. And because of you, this is actually is happening. And we needed this in this part of the country. Absolutely needed it. We've been talking about, I would love just kind of walk us through. I don't know how laws are set. I know that if you go enough to Montgomery and you pester them enough and they see you coming, they're going to start doing something or they're going to run from you. Either way, you can also call if there's something you would like to see happening. They take it, especially during election year. That's coming up. It's coming up.
Yeah,
now's a good time.
See, that's a point too, the election year thing. That's when you see the most action because they're running for re-election. So, next year is a pretty much county commission elections or whatever. Every 2 years is the governor, president, whatever. So that's when you really got your voice. And I say start local. I mean, really, and I know local politicians because we interact with them regularly. I know they know me, so it's easier to deal with. But whatever you're like with us, Albertville right now, I understand they're talking about a no chaining ordinance in the city of Albertville. I've talked to the mayor about it, and I think I'm supportive of it, very supportive of it. Taking a while, but so get your local policy. Hey, that would be a good rule for Albertville. ARAB has it. ARAB has a no chaining ordinance, and they probably enacted it because people raise cane. And my sister lives in ARAB, and she says she never used to. She saw them all the time, and said never sees a dog on a chain in ARAB anymore. So, if whatever issue you've got with animals, whether it be animal cruelty, not your local politicians, and if 2 or 3 cities enact a local thing, then it goes to the counties. It kind of spreads like a virus or whatever you want to say. Good movements like that, it can get started in the city. And next thing another city, well, that's a good law, and then they pass it, and it kind of then it becomes state law eventually, and it works that way. Trying to go straight to Montgomery, first of all, I don't know how many days they meet a year in Montgomery. 50, not many.
You better call before you go down there. Make sure.
There are political people like with the Humane Society who are trying their best to change the rules in Montgomery, but a lot of it can start smaller. You start with your cities or your counties. Counties are going to be harder because a lot more people in the county have, this is more freedom kind of thing. They don't like regulations, but start with your cities, whatever city you live in. If there's a problem with animals, whether you're not getting cruelty investigated or you want to see an ordinance about chaining, or you decide it's your city, and then start talking to your local politicians.
Well, we got a good one right here in DeKalb County. She just moved into DeKalb County, and her name is Jeannie Schaefer. And you two need to know each other. Okay.
She's an animal. I take it she's an animal person.
Oh my God. She loves animals. She lives on this big farm. She's got these dogs that she's had forever, horses and all this kind of stuff. And so I interviewed Jeannie while she was running for office, and she was on the show quite a bit. And we always, of course, you know me, I love animals too. We always started talking about animals. I mean, it was, and you don't want to get her upset about a dog on a chain.
That's what you need. Politicians like that. If to us animals are important, so you better believe when I vote, I definitely kind of look at how they feel about animals. It's important to me. I don't care about some issues, so it doesn't matter. But on that would be something that would drive me to vote a certain way, is how they view animals. And that's what on the changing thing. Marshall County Commission recently enacted, most cities you get 7 days. A dog gets picked up by animal control, 7 days, it's a dead dog. If it's not rescued or adopted or gone home, that's just it. 7 days stray hold. It's pretty much required in Alabama. And that's one of those laws that started probably small, and it is in Alabama. You have to hold it 7 days. Marshall County just went to 60 days, and they really need to be commended for that. I know a lot of people are still upset because they're still putting dogs down after 60 days, but that's a big move. That was a bold
It's a little buying time. It's a little bit.
And it's probably, realistically, and I like to speak realistically here, it's probably not going to make a difference. A big dog that goes to a shelter, it don't matter if it's 7 days or 60 days, it's probably not going to get adopted.
I don't understand that, because I'm going to tell you what. You remember me getting in contact with you? I was just crying and carrying everything a few weeks ago. I thought something was happening to Buddy. I got in contact with you and Wanda, and so I thought he was dying. He wound up being okay. He's just fine. But he's a big old boy. And we found out from the veterinarian he weighs 82 pounds. I sort of guessed it. I figured it was somewhere around 80. I didn't know what. But he's our big baby. I mean, he is just a big baby. He goes with me. And this is another thing I want to tell you about a big dog. A big dog's going to look out after you. I mean, he does. So I have not seen but one snake. We've been living here for 10 years. Mother's seen a few. Phil has seen a few. I've seen one.
And Buddy hangs out with you.
I think it's because Buddy sniffs them out. I really do. And I'm out in the woods. You know me, I love the country. Mm-hmm. So, we've got this garden and all this stuff going on. And Buddy follows me around he's like a protector of me. And that's what Phil says. Phil says, that dog loves you. I mean, he protects you like crazy. and so what he does, I could even go out in the woods and pick blackberries. I've still not seen a snake.
Yeah, that would be. But see,
he jumps ahead of him and he gets out there in the bushes and stuff, and I think he sniffs them out.
and snakes are instinctively try to get away. I mean, they're not going to they're not aggressive as a rule.
No,
So that dog comes
not
out
like people think.
you
And
know,
I think you need to think about a big dog, whoever you are. Okay, not always little. I love little ankle biters too, but I love my big dog.
And mentality. Of course, a lot of places now, if you move into an apartment, they're going to say you can't have a dog over 30 pounds. So landlords regulate a lot of what size dog you got, but big dogs still take a beating, and then the ones that are being put down at the pounds everywhere are normally big dogs.
Gosh,
so the 60 days, I want to go back to the 60-day. I appreciate that Marshall County went for, instead of 7, they've got 60. It's not going to probably make much difference in the real world, but it may make a difference and allow people a little more time to get those big dogs and get them a home. We had 2 dogs here that been here 3 years, and they were a bonded pair. And a lady came down from Scottsboro the other day and took them home, and wanted to actually deliver them up there because they were big dogs. Wanted to help the lady out, and one said when she come back, she said those dogs hit the jackpot. She said they have a huge yard, and she took a video of them running around the yard, chasing squirrels just a few minutes after they were there. A huge fenced-in yard, fantastic dog house. I mean, they got it made, and they were big dogs. Have been here 3 years. The 60-day thing, I wish everybody would go to that, but most cities will never be able to do that because there's too many dogs, and they've got to dispose of them after, a week is a limit. But I'm proud of Marshall County for doing what they did there.
Doug, let me tell you something else about a big old dog. You can't. We have a security system here, but the best security system I've got is that dog. And let me tell you something about that. So I have a friend who's a security specialist, and so he talks about people in businesses actually have dogs, in their businesses, like late after, like it could be a warehouse or something like that, And he said those little ankle biters, all some crook's going to do, criminal, is just going to step on them and squish them. But a big dog, they're going to think twice.
Especially if you have two big dogs running loose. Yeah, people would definitely. When I worked at the police department in April, there was a body shop where they worked on cars, and they had a dog there. And I don't really agree with making a dog super aggressive. When they turn that dog loose, anybody went in there, the only way you'd ever get in there would be to kill the dog. I mean, it was such the police would go down there, and that dog, like Cujo, but he was a big one. And I guarantee you they didn't get broke into. I mean, nobody would be crazy to try to go into that business.
That would be, Doug, a little bit over a minute left in the segment. How many folks get in contact with you if they want to adopt a big dog?
They need to call us first at 256-561-2411, or they can go to Second Chance Shelter on Facebook, 2ND Chance Shelter, and message us and look at our dogs. On our Facebook page, we have our dogs. Then go to petfinder.com and type in Second Chance Shelter. We're the one in Boaz, and see what we got. Yeah, our big dogs, that's the big thing that we've got to deal with. That's who needs the help. So if you're looking for a big dog, you're going to save a life, because every big dog we take, we go to the pound, they get another one that's getting ready to be put down. So it works.
Absolutely, it does.
Big dogs need homes. I'm telling you, it's all about big dogs right now, trying to find a home for them.
Well, I love my big dog. My big dog. My big old
we got them too.
And thank you for responding so quick when I thought something had happened to Buddy. You and Wanda were awesome.
I'm glad he's okay. I really am, because I know he means everything to you.
He does. Thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. Thank you, Doug. Tell Wanda I said hello.
I will. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.